Hello guys. So today I wanted to make a video about my PLAB2 journey. Um, I'm not going to be talking about the resources and how I prepared for the PLAB2. I'm going to be making a separate video for that. This video is more going to be about the failure I had in the PLAB2 exam. So I had two attempts. In the first attempt, I did not succeed, and I know there are a lot of people who are in the same boat as me, who you know passed in the second or third or even the fourth attempt. So if anyone who has received his results or her results and they haven't passed, I wanted to give them some hope. And I'm going to be sharing my personal experience, how I cope with it, and how much important it was for me to pass in the first attempt, even though I didn't. So um, I roughly gave 4 months for the preparation of my PLAB2. Uh, I was giving at least 2 to 3 hours daily. Um, I was not very consistent. I would say that sometimes I would skip 2 to 3 days in a week, but I was able to do a majority of the cases from the GK's notes, even though I didn't try to memorize them. And I felt like if I knew the approach of the whole system, that would be enough. And I felt fairly confident going into the exam. And I just took one mock from TSR Academy, and even though I didn't pass in that mock as well, but I knew that they score very harshly. So I passed, I think, 10 stations, and one of the stations was a prescription station that they lost my prescription, so that station wasn't scored. So basically, I scored 10 uh, station out of 15. Um, so, and I scored 6, 7 in most of the cases. They do not give you a lot of marks. So uh, majority of the feedback was very positive. They were saying that you were good. Obviously, they gave me some weaknesses that I needed to work on. But overall, I felt like I was ready for the exam, and I didn't take another mock because I didn't see it giving me much value back then. Anyway, so I didn't join any academy. Just the TSR mocks, and I took Dr. Zubair's classes, which I recommend to you as well because they are conducted over a period of 1 month, and 2 hours daily are given, unlike Loa, in which you have to do all the things in 3 to 4 days, and the classes are very extensive, 12 to 14 hours. There are some drawbacks of Dr. Zubair as well. I'm going to be talking about that in future videos. Anyways, so with that preparation, I gave my exam. And so initially, uh, when I went into the exam, even though I tried to calm myself down, but the environment inside, I felt it was very overwhelming. It was very pressurizing because there is a small room and there is a simulator, and who is obviously foreign for you. Most of the simulators are going to be white men or women. So if you haven't interacted with white people a lot, like me, you can have a little trouble with communicating with them. Um, I don't know why do we have that problem, but it is just the feeling of not being very comfortable talking to those people if you are talking to them for the first time. So I felt like that was one of the factors that made me nervous. But I started the station very, I would say, very confidently, even though I was very nervous, but I did well. But as soon as I went to the prescription station, I couldn't find the label of the patient. And the reason was that I did not practice with the label, and I didn't know how the labels were supposed to look like. So uh, they were there, obviously, but I couldn't find it. I spent 2 minutes trying to find out where the label was. So the prescription station didn't go well. And again, I felt a rush of adrenaline and I got very nervous. And the next few station, because I was very nervous, I couldn't really focus on. And because you have just 8 minutes and you have to be very organized and structured in your thought, in your thinking, and in your history as well. So if you are nervous, you won't be able to think clearly and you will be very random. So that happens if you are nervous. So because of the prescription station not going very well, I couldn't finish it because I spent 2 minutes watching for the label of the patient. So that contributed to me being more nervous in the next station. And then came the Simon because already I didn't get any rest station in between. That was another problem because if you get a rest station in between, then you have the time to go to the washroom and calm yourself down. So in the Siemens station, I was not ready. I didn't know it was a Siemens station, even though most of the people know beforehand which room is going to be Siemens. So outside the prompt was that the patient has fever from last night and he has come to the hospital. And as soon as I entered the room, I came to know that it is Simon. So I didn't prepare my mind for Simon in that station. That led to me missing the subsys protocol that I needed to initiate. And because the Simon didn't go well, the next two session I was very worried about the Simon, so I couldn't focus on the next two session as well. So that is also a problem that you need to have control over your nerves. But as soon as the station came up, I calmed myself down. I thought that if I continue with that pace, I might need to take the exam again. So luckily, I got the hold of myself, and I did very well in the next few stations because I had two rest stations and only 8 to 10 stations were left. So I had a lot of rest in between stations. In the last two stations, before which I had a rest station, I scored 12 and 11. So you can see that as soon as I had a hold over my nerve, I scored pretty well. And it was a mixture of a bad luck and me being not very familiar with the environment, uh, which is very important for a person like me because I always get nervous in the new environment. So these all factors contributed to my failure. Even though I scored 104 and the passing score was 98, but the thing was, I passed on the 8 stations. And obviously, it is everyone's story. It is not true that you fail the station by only 1 mark. So it doesn't matter if you fail it by 1 mark or 2 or 3 marks. Fail is a fail, right? So when I got my results, um, I was in the UK and I was preparing for the ALS course. I literally couldn't believe it because the last few stations they went very well, and coming out of the examination hall, I had that in my mind that last stations were very well, so I did very well overall, and I forgot about the things that I did in the prescription and the sim. So those two stations were failed, and one of the station I did very well, but still I failed. But the rest of the station I failed, I knew that where I lacked. So I would recommend that you do Simon and prescription very well because these two stations, they act as a buffer and they will be the difference between you passing or failing the exam. No matter how good or bad you do in the other stations, if you have passed the Simon and prescription station, then it is very likely that you are going to pass it. So I got my results and literally it was the worst feeling ever. I had an email that was saying that you were unsuccessful in your attempt, and I kept on reading the email and I couldn't believe it. And knowing that you have spent all this money and you came all the way to the UK from Pakistan just to take this exam and you just fail it, and obviously you have told a lot of people back home, your relatives, everyone, and you're thinking how you are going to tell them that you failed that exam. So it is a very overwhelming and very frustrating feeling that I went through, and you feel too much depressed. I cannot even begin to explain how do you feel. Because for people like us, this is a very huge exam because of the cost. The cost of the exam is only like £1,000. Then you have the travel expenses. Then you have the accommodation, which is at least £20 to £25 per night, and obviously all the expenses you have to pay in the pounds. So a person who's earning in rupees, in Pakistani rupees or Indian rupees, it's very difficult for them to imagine that they have to do it twice. So if you are in the same boat as me, as I was, struggle with the management. So this is something um, that you can memorize. It is not dependent on your communication or something you are born with. So at least everyone can work on their management. And uh, majority of the people who failed, I asked them about their results, and the lowest they score was in the management, and same was the case with me as well. So I would recommend that focus on your management, try to memorize them. I think GK's notes are the best because they contain all the cases and their management, and they are also up to date as well. So, um, yeah, this video was just about people who unfortunately didn't pass their first attempt. I wanted to give you some hope that it is not over. I was in the same place as you a few months back, and I was listening to the people who failed and they passed in their second attempt, and I was trying to tell myself that I will be able to do that as well, even though I didn't have any resources and anything. But I knew that I didn't have any choice because I was already in the middle of the journey. I cannot just leave it. So just trust yourself. I know nobody wants to take this exam again. It is a very subjective exam as well because the examiners are scoring you, they are judging you, and the human Observation is always subjective. So do not be hard on yourself and take your time. I took, I think, 1 week to recover, and then I started preparing for it again. I wouldn't say that I recovered completely from the trauma that PLAB2 gave me, because some other thing happened in my life after the PLAB2 results, because I was not very well mentally. I took a lot of stress, even though I was trying to calm myself down and I was trying to normalize and trying to practice with a new partner. But still, um, it was something that took a emotional toll over myself, and that is why I'm making this video, because it is very important for me, that the that part of the journey, it was very difficult, and I want the people around me who are taking PLAB2 exam and they didn't pass in the first attempt. I want them to know that it is part of a journey. Failure is as much part of the whole journey as much as the success. So you are not alone in that. A lot of people fail. It is the passing percentage for the first timer is 50 to 60%. So if you do not hear from them or listen to their stories, it doesn't mean that they are not people like you. There are a lot of people who are giving it again. So do not feel any less of yourself or feel like that it was your mistake. Sometimes it's just a matter of luck. And the next time, obviously, if you prepared well and you did everything right, the next time luck is going to be in your favor. Sometimes luck is it's not in your favor. So please do not blame yourself. Um, so yeah, that is all I wanted to say. And if you have any questions, do comment in the comment section. And I will be making a video in which I will be talking about the differences in my first and second attempt, and if there are anything I wish that I did differently. And uh, just to disclose the results, so in the first attempt I passed 8 stations, in the second one I passed 13, and I scored 113. And I didn't do anything extra. I didn't even take another mock in the second attempt because I knew I prepared very well for it. I just practiced with a partner, and this time, one thing I did differently was that I did live practice sessions face to face, not online. It might have played some role, I'm not sure. And yeah, and I didn't take any academy in the second attempt, no mocks, nothing else. I just memorized the GK's notes, the management especially. And also, I went through the Lowan's note as well because I think the counseling approach of Lowan is very good. You can go through Lowan's note as well, blue notes, and figure out if any of the topics, mm, you know, they make sense to you. Then you can just read those topics from Lowan. For example, I like derma, psychiatry, counseling from the Lowan notes because I felt like he gave a very good structure and I could remember it. So yeah, this is my advice. Hang in there, and you are going to do it in the second attempt. Or if you are not able to succeed in the second, you are going to do it in the third attempt. So I know it is hard, but you have to do it because you are already halfway, right? Just you need some courage, some uh, encouragement. I wouldn't say that more hard work because you already put so much hard work. Just need to work on your weaknesses, and you are going to ace it.